Hey everybody, on today's episode, we're cutting holes for trash cans and coolers, so stick around. Alright, so the next thing I want to do is modify this cooler so that it goes down and it can be flush with this, or just under it. So what I've done here, I've already popped the top off. There's just some little nubbers there that you can pop these off real easy. Get rid of that, put it somewhere, use it for later or whatever. But I'm going to take the coolest tool ever made, this little puppy, and I'm going to go in here and I'm going to cut this piece off that's raised, and then I'm also going to cut this handle off of it because I've got a board over here and right where I want it, that is in my way. So I will cut that off, I'll cut this off, and then that cooler sit right down in there. So I will get to cutting and you can check things out. Let's fire this puppy up. Alright, hopefully you can see this. This little thing will just about cut anything when you have a good blade on it. So you can see with that little tool, we made quick work of that. Got that piece cut off so everything's nice and flat on the top. Now what I'll do is I'll turn it around this way. Probably have to cut this one off too. Turn it around this way, that way if anybody looks in, they don't see any of that rough edge. My hole in the top will actually be a little bit smaller than the cooler, so they won't, have to worry about anybody getting caught on the edges. So let me zip this one off real quick. More clearancing to do. Looks like this may be in our way. Alright. One way. This was a backer that I put in earlier because of butting these two up. But now that I've got this kick panel in, this is actually part of the framework now. So this is permanent. So this really isn't needed anyhow. So we'll just do away with that. And that'll open things up and give us the clearance. Hopefully this drops down in there now. Okay, I got one little 2x4 over here that's still holding me up. Get this little puppy out of the way. I can just move this a couple inches down here. Matter of fact, I can probably put a little plate up underneath of it just to shim it up just a hair. And, I'll make a cool cutout in here and everything that goes in with the 45-degree cut things that I'm going to make and everything, and that'll give everybody access to it. Maybe I'll be able to put a little color changing LED down in there and that white, changing colors and looking neat. So we will see. On to the other side. Alright, so on this side we want to put a trash can. You can tell I went to Walmart, but we need to get a trash can planted right down in here. So what we're going to do is center it up on the center line, we'll mark that off and everything. Get that cut out, that way this will drop down inside of it. Gotta kind of pay attention to where my framework is down there. So right there, that's the maximum this way that I want to go, because I have some framework under here that I need to avoid. Center that up, make sure eyeball looking square. Obviously this, what I'm marking right now, is way too small for this cooler, but it gives me a general start. So that right there, if I cut that out, that's an initial, but what I'll actually do is cut out a little bit larger around it, because I want this thing to sit way down in here. And actually, oh, there's some little pinholes that are already made into this that I can look through to hit my center line. So let's just mark it this way. Get about that other mark that I already made. Make sure that I'm back there far enough. Visually look straight. Ooh, boy, that's right up against the wall. I can go this way. Wasn't really planning on that, but it doesn't much matter either. This way I can pull this out a little bit more, so let's go this route. Sharpie marker. Alright, so now I've got that. Because what I want it to do is I want it to sit in. When I slide it and hold, I want it to do that. That way this is still just above. That way you can put a trash can in this and everything, drop it in the hole, and when it's full, you still have a lip to grab onto to pull this heavy sucker out. So, like I say, right here will actually go a little bit smaller than that hole. So I'll just put some marks around here. That way when I get jiggy with it with the jigsaw, I have a little bit of a guide of where to go to, because I don't want to screw up and cut on the outer line, because then it just won't work the way I want it. So there's that. I just got to cut those out and drop the old trash can in. It'll be right there. Let's get to that. No obstructions. See how close I got. Okay. It is going down and hitting the floor, which is perfect, because once you put a bag in this, you've got something to grab a hold of to pull it out. Because once these things get 12 or 18 cans of, or bottles of whatever in them, they get a bit heavy. So you don't want it to be a tight fit down in there, because then you really got to yank it out. So right there, it's a loose fit, looks good all the way around. Once that's all covered, that'll look great. So there's our trash can in 10 minutes. Now the next thing is going to be figuring out where I want my 45s to come down, because obviously I don't want them to get too close to this and look funny. So thinking that doesn't look too hateful right there, at least for an initial start. So throw a little line there. Put that up in the trash can, throw a line here. I don't know if you can see me over here, but I'm doing a little measurement for the seat backs. That comes out to about 7 1/4 there. Didn't even need to measure it. I already had that written down there. So I come down here and come down 7 1/4. And make a mark. 7 1/4. So I know that that is how far my cup holder area is going to be out in the back. Here, another 7 1/4. 7 1/4 out here. Pull that out for a second. Now time to connect the dots. I can make these lines a little dark so you guys can see them. Right here, maybe we'll put a little cup holder there, cup holder there. So now that gives us place for our trash can. We got 2 cup holders here. The seats will come in and be cut at a 45-degree angle, and all in this area will all be this level all the way back, and all my cup holders will be in the seat back areas. So that'll give me, I think that's a little pretty cool. So all right, so let's figure out what to do next. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get ready to cut this corner. The dark line here I've already measured out, and I know that that is the cutout that I want, that is right centered with the core. I want to put some radiuses on here because I don't want I don't want the square edge corners. So what you do, grab something cool, line it up with these. Around here and mark the radius. Hope I measured it all right. So now what I gotta do is prop this up and get jiggy with that. Probably I'll take the cooler out of the hole before I stick a jigsaw in there. I tend to make everything a little too tight, and then I have to go back and clearance things, because if I pad something and then I go to wrap it, I end up with these gaps that are way too tight, and then everything won't fit together. I was a mechanical engineer for 20 years, so I have a tendency to want everything right on perfect, and well, that can hurt you when you're building a bus and you make everything fit perfect, because then you have to go back and clearance things before you can cover it with material. I always just build everything good and tight, then after the fact I will go back and clearance the stuff before I cover it, recheck it, reinstall everything, make sure I've got good gaps around everything. Then when I know when I cover it, everything will go together and all my gaps and everything will be good and tight. So let's go ahead and get this little puppy cut out. What I'm going to do is chop this up like I did on the other side. Or at least I can get my blade in there. And here we go. My cooler hole. I'll go in with the router and everything before this is all covered with everything. I'll put a nice round edge around everything. Make it all purty. That way I think everything will be alright. Cool. Now I gotta figure out the where my 45s are gonna go. So I will have to go look at the other side, do some measurements and everything, and see if I can make this side look like that side. On we go. Alright, so right here, after cutting this hole, I've realized that, the cooler's trapped in here pretty good. But I want that cooler over this way a little bit to center it up more in my hole. This hole I have a nice overhang. This side I don't have much. So I need to take the cooler itself and move it this way a little bit. Well, the easiest way to do that is this cool tool. Watch what this thing does. Want to know why that's one of my favorite tools? Because of that right there. You can notch stuff and move it around a little bit more. Now I'm going to go ahead and notch it a little bit more, but at least with that you can see how easy it is. Gives us a little bit of clearance. Still need so got a little bit more clearance than to do. But basically when it's all said and done, I'll take a little 2x4. I'll put down in here, throw some screws in it, and one on each side. That way it traps this thing. I'll do a little bit more notching on these, but at least we're getting it to where I can move it over a little bit more. Alright, so right here we got everything moved around, so I've got a nice gap on both ends all the way around, so I think we can say the cooler's taken care of, other than I have to put a drain in it, so we'll do that later on. So that side is at least cut. Now I have to worry about the little 45-degree angle things and what I do on both sides. So that's what's next. Tape measure here, tape measure. There we are. So what I measured off the other side, about 3.5 inches off the center line of this, both ways. Puts it awful close, but it'll work. What am I doing? When I have my lines confirmed exactly where I want them, I like to come in and make the final lines a little bit darker and thicker. Keep my my sketches and everything light. That way I don't cut the wrong spot. So I go back up here and measure this. What I need to do is make a straight line from over there to over there. That way I know where my stuff is going to be. But for right now, we're just going to kind of wing it and say, looking for this, that's right in front of me. Those lines. Darker line there, darker line there, so right there, that's where my seats are going to come up. All of this back here will be cup holder area, and this will just kind of come out to whatever. My seats will not stop right here. They're actually going to hang out past this, you know, with a design or whatever on the front side. But at least that puts me about where I want to be. Who knows? Maybe I'll do a little cup holder here. Okay, so maybe you can see this, but you can see my 45-degree lines right there. Got that set up on this side so that looks like that. Swing around here to this side. Got kind of the same thing going on. 45 degrees, some cup holders and everything right there with the trash can. So getting that taken care of little by little. All right, everybody, that's Digger's little update for today. So keep checking back. We'll do more updates. This weekend, I do have the white trash and white walls car show going on. Then I'm going to be taking the Falcon to. So haven't been to a show for a couple weeks, but it's time I get the Falcon back out there. The purple is cool. But until then, keep checking back. Like, share, comment, ring a little bell thingy and everything. And we'll keep you updated with whatever's coming up next. So have a happy day. The party starts here.